6 months ago, the editor-in-chief of the Times of Israel was in Metro Detroit, and he gave a speech, and he was talking about the protests, the near civil war that we saw between the right and the left, the from and the not from in Eretz Yisrael. And he made a comment about Israel finally being comfortable and confident in the external security, not afraid of attacks from the outside. So it was able to turn to these inner issues. 6 months later, those comments seem prophetic. The sense of external security, more uncertain than it's been in recent memory, and the internal divisions, a memory, a thing of the past. Unprecedented achdus, unity, across Am Yisrael and across Eretz Yisrael. Thousands of Haredi boys enlisting in the army, prominent secularists declaring publicly the value of those who study Torah, Hasidic Rebbes giving presents, sending special packages to the soldiers on the front lines, yeshiva students sewing tzitzis on uniforms, Yerushalmi children, teens who've never left the alleys of the old city are now on farms in the south, tending to the fields abandoned by people who are out in battle. A person would have to be blind to not draw a connection between the unrest from within, the division, the internal fighting, and the attacks and the vulnerability from without, because the real enemy has never been the oyev, the enemy from the outside, but it's been that internal division. We have, in this week's parsha, a discussion of the be'eros, the wells that Yitzchak dug. The first one, called Esek, Vayarivu, because there was a fight between the shepherds. The Ramban famously says that these three wells correspond to the three Batei Mikdash. The first one, there was a fight, the Kli Yakar explains, between the Roim, between the shepherds, Malcha Yehuda, Malchus Yisrael. There was a division between 2 Shvatim and 10 Shvatim over the Malchus, and it didn't last. And the second one was called Sitna, Vayarivu Gam Aleha. It was called hatred. They just hated each other. There was internal fighting, not even at the leadership level, just people didn't get along. You're a yeshiva person and you're a working person. You're a Litvish and you're Hasidish. You're Sephardi and you're something else. So all of that division is what led to the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. Only the third one, V'loi ravu aleha, because they didn't fight over it, that's why it lasted. That's why it was able to be called Rechovos. That Kiata Hirchiv Hashem Lanu Farinu Va'aretz, that even though it was Farinu, that we were many and multiplied and had so many people, it still felt broad, it still felt wide, it still felt spacious. There's that joke about two Jews stuck on a desert island. There will be two shuls at either end. That's not a funny joke. It's not funny. That kind of segregation and I'm different than you is what creates that vulnerability. The division from within creates that vulnerability to attacks from outside. This past week, I was in Washington, D.C. for work, and I was there at the time of this rally, and there was something remarkable about walking down the streets with streams of Jewish people from all walks of life, black hats, no hats, yarmulkes, no yarmulkes, all coming together. It must be something like what it felt like to be Ola Regel. Of course, this wasn't to be Ola Regel, this was going to the National Mall, and the agenda at this rally left much to be desired. But the unity the achdus, the avas Yisrael, the connection to each other was surreal, was palpable. And if there's anything that we have to learn from all of this, it's the importance of each and every Jew and being connected to each and every Jew. We wonder, how will we stay inspired? How will we stay connected? Someone was just asking me Friday night, I felt very inspired when this all happened, very connected, like I have to do something, but it's already a month in, 2 months in. The Ger Rebbe said about the big Nisim in 1967, that in its wake there was a big Ruach Tshuva, there was a Hisayrus, an awakening. All Jewish people felt like they were 10 feet tall after that. They saw these open miracles, what happened in 6 days. And it created an awakening. The Tshuva movement was born from that. Or Sameach Eish HaTorah, all of this followed in the wake of the 6-day war. The Ger Rebbe, as said over by Reb Naftali Yeager and Shayash of last Shabbos, the Ger Rebbe has a provocative comment. It said, there was such a big Ruach Tshuva, there was such an awakening. It's a shame that it was all taken by the Chilonim, that the secular people got it all. What did we do differently? As Reb Tzvi Berkowitz explained, if Hashem is speaking, sure, we're a minority, but who is Hashem speaking to through these actions? He's speaking to us, the Ma'aminim, the people who believe that things happen for a purpose, and it is all Hashem orchestrating it. So he's talking to us, so what's he telling us? If you look at the sequence of events, he's telling us, stop with the fighting internally. You have to go out of your way not to put down Jews who are different than you. And if there's anything that we can do, that we should do specifically to try and keep this awakening alive and to improve, it's this. It's to find another Jew who is different than you, who thinks differently than you, and be warm to them, be makar of them, reach out to them, respect them, bring them close. And when we do that, we get rid of these internal divisions, which are our Achilles heel. And when we have that unity in Klal Yisrael, the Goy Echad Ba'aretz, then the Hashem Echad can come and redeem us. Amen.